Well, hello, my YouTube friends. So those of you that have been following along with me, you know that this is the book I use to track my payments for all my credit cards and all my monthly payments. Okay, so last week or 2 weeks ago, you saw me bring these down to zero. That was $2,600 in the span of about 4 days to just finally get rid of these. Okay, so I still have a house payment and a car payment. This one's been at zero for a while, and thank goodness, because that's a help. Now I still have these two right here. The balances are pretty low. I think combined they're under $800. And so what happens, or how I've been doing it, I get paid each Friday. And so I would have to look and see, is Friday the 18th or the 19th or the 17th, or when is Friday compared to this due date. So if Friday was the 17th or the 18th, I could wait until that paycheck to make this payment, and then I'd have to make this one at the same time, because it would be, that's only 3. My next paycheck would be 7 days. But if the Friday was the 19th, I would have to pay this one out of the previous check. So I'm always balancing and looking ahead, and okay, I got this payment here, every Friday, when does it fall, and what payments do I have to make with what paycheck, and I did it. So of course the car payment and the mortgage payment are due on the 1st, but the last day I can pay them and avoid a late charge is the 14th and the 16th. That's why they're listed here. Now the last day I can pay these is listed here, so those get paid before these, so I'm always paying these late. So now that this is at zero, and I'm not robbing from this to pay this, and I'm not robbing from this to pay this, I should be able to have a little bit of extra cash at the end of the month, and make these payments on time, and start making these on time, and that sort of thing. So let's look at my car payment. Let's see what the plan moving forward could or should be. Okay, and pay no attention to this stuff back here, because that $400, I got to take that right now to the payment station and pay my energy payment, right? My PG&E, so the lights stay on. And then these tubes right here, they're worthless, right? You can't sell those to save your life, so they're not really, they ain't helping me. Okay, so yeah, never mind that decoration in the background. So here, let's look at my statement for my car payment. Okay, the statement date is the 10th, and today the 9th? No, today is the 10th, so they'll be mailing out the November statement tomorrow or something. Okay, so my interest rate is pretty low, 5%. My payment is pretty low, under $400. Okay, the maturity date, 2/29/28, so just over 2 years from now. Okay, I'm paying $1.36 in interest a day. $1.36 times 30 is whatever it is, and I still owe almost 10 grand according to this statement. Okay, let's look at but this is showing that I'm behind, right? Because I don't know why that was due on it should have been due on the 1st, but anyway. So it says that I owe 2 right here after the 14th, like I showed you a second ago. But you can see right here, my previous payment was on the 11th, right? And the statement date is the 10th, so that one, I'm all caught up right now. You have to take my word for it. So let's look at what happens to each payment. So the payment is $371. $327 goes to the interest, and $43, vice versa, goes to the interest, and the principal. I'm paying over, a good amount on the principal. So should I really start pounding away on this? and get that paid off faster, sooner. You know, I don't know. It's a small, you know, could be considered a small number. I got other things I want to do. Got you know, you still have to live life and deal with things that crop up. I've been getting a few business cards from roofing people. I'm not ready to ask for an estimate yet because I need the cash to pay for it, right? You know, I don't know what a roof costs these days. You know, my house ain't too big, but you know, I got some tree service I'm going to need. You may have seen on my previous channel that rig I built and the extension thing I bought, the pruning shears, and I've done about everything I can, you know, with my equipment. I'm eventually going to have to call in a tree guy. So things like that, right? I still need cash for those, right? So I can't spend all my cash, you know, paying this off immediately. You know, I could bump that up to, you know, an even 400 or, you know, any amount bigger than that. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. So I'm concerned about this, but I'm not too concerned. It's not a deal breaker. And I know that bills are boring and paying off debt is boring and buying gold is exciting, and you guys don't like to get bored. But if you're still here, let's take a look at some more loser silver. Okay, let's, you know, like, so I'm not even sure. Some of it looks kind of halfway shiny. Those ain't some bad looking Benjis right there. This thing keeps trying to focus. Yeah, those ain't, you know, those they're pretty. You know, somebody wants them. I think I remember when I bought these a long time ago, and I gave away a bunch of them. Yeah, I don't give them away now. Although I do give away quarters and dimes, right? So there's some of that. Let's see what we got here. Uh-oh, there's a shiny one right there. Although it's not, it's worn. It's not like those BU ones. There's some, you can see I like the older designs. Let's see if we come across any Kennedys. And this is, shall we say, old stock. Here's a Kennedy. It's a 64. I might put that, because I'm going to have to put these back in their tubes. I might put that with the Benjis. That one's ugly. So I just watched a video from Coin Help You, and he was talking about like the worst coals imaginable, and or the worst coals in your stack. When a bunch of this junk silver comes in, the ones with paint on them and damaged, and you know, that those would be, I guess, the best candidate to go to the refiner, because they're already half destroyed and it's less of a loss. This one is 64. Yeah, that's a 64. That was kind of pretty. This one looks like it ain't bad right here. That one's been polished, so it's damaged. All right, here's like a whole tube of Kennedy's, looks like. I remember my friend at work would tell me about his dad, and that his dad, and with his dementia and his problems of his aging and all that, that he would often get out his coins and play with his coins. And I guess even in his dementia, he enjoyed looking at his coins. And I didn't ask my friend, well, what kind are they? I didn't do all that. You know, presumably it was a lot of junk silver, maybe some Morgans and stuff like that, but I don't know. I guess before long, I'll be the one with dementia playing with my coins. My wife will be calling me when the sandwich is ready. All right, my friends, keep working on that debt. Keep working off that debt. All right, you have a good day.